thread. Mail-in requests and early voting. Virginia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida. These things don't just happen in a vacuum. Rules in Virginia are blowing up in turnout compared to blue counties. Not going to just happen in one state. In other words, no matter what data set we look at, the polls, voter registration, or early voting, it's all swinging right. The polls show Trump is stronger than he's ever been, all the while the Democrat is weaker than they've ever been against him. Kamala, maybe +4, +5 in some of these national puff polls. It doesn't matter. Biden and Hillary were +10 in the same polls at this time in the respective races. Republicans have been out-registering Democrats by far in every single state in the nation, for the one exception of Colorado. They're too stoned to know the difference. And now we got the early voting. And everywhere we look, everywhere, so we're talking Virginia, Pennsylvania, Florida, North Carolina, the Democrats are down and the Republicans are up from where they were in 2020. And so now we've got a Democrat admitting that their early voting advantage has completely collapsed. Now, this is a Florida Democrat. Her name is Barbie Hardin Hall. She just tweeted this out, quote, "Why did mail-in ballot requests collapse? Well, maybe because the Republicans passed a law, again in Florida, that you have to renew your request every cycle. Most Floridians don't know the law changed and are expecting their mail-in ballots to arrive as they used to each election." Yeah, right. To which Eric Dougherty couldn't help but comment, so you're worried that your party's mail-in ballot requests collapsed because voters didn't request them. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Sure, our mail-in ballot requests have collapsed, but that's only because the Republicans are making our voters have to request them. Now, if you're able to make sense of that, you're doing a lot better than I am, that's for sure. Regardless, that admission, I think, is a harbinger of things to come. The admissions, the excuse-making, the finger-pointing have all begun. Republicans are absolutely fired up. They're out there voting already in record numbers. We're talking double, triple what they were voting in 2020 at this time. And frankly, the Democrats have started to reduce themselves to excuse-making and finger-pointing. And boy, there's going to be a lot of that. And that's because, as we talked about last night, we now have reports that the Kamala campaign's own internal polling has her down 4 in Pennsylvania. Barris and Barnes were talking about this yesterday on Rich Barris's Inside the Numbers live broadcast. Trump's own internal polling shows him up 3 in Pennsylvania. Now, as I understand it, that could be about it. That's going to be the margin, 3 or 4 points at tops. Pennsylvania is close, no question. But we have both the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign confirming that the margin belongs to Trump. That 3 or 4 point margin by which Pennsylvania will be won is being won by Trump. And one of the fundamental reasons for why Harris is so woefully underperforming in Pennsylvania is because of just how badly she's hemorrhaging the working class vote. We talk about this all the time, but here's the latest. Take a look at this poll of Teamster Union members in the key swing states, the battleground states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, the so-called blue wall. These states were once solidly blue because there is an inordinately high number of working class voters in these states. But these voters have since 2016 begun more and more defecting to Trump. Not so much the Republican Party. We found that out the hard and painful way in 2022. But they are defecting to Trump. And these 3 states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania are starting to vote to the right, however slightly, of the national polling. Now, look at the difference between working class support for Biden when he was the nominee versus working class support for Kamala Harris. This is stunning. This is about as stark as it gets. When Biden was on the ticket